Commence with the name of Almighty, who is the most compassionate and the most merciful. This is Miss Sidra Kashif, ESL and IELTS instructor at MSK Linguistics Center from Karachi, Pakistan. It's my honor to invite Miss Denelle Boyles. She is one of the renowned personality on international level as an artist, writer, author, and holistic practitioner. We are going to discuss about the topic multilingual journeys, spoken English, challenges, and empowerment. I hope this live stream is going to be really fruitful to you if you watch it till the end. So let's be connected. Hello, ma'am. How are you?
Yes. Hi, good evening. I'm very well today. Thank you. It's a pleasure to join you here in conversation today. I'm very excited to dive deep into the multilingual journeys.
I am really grateful that you have accepted my invitation for this live stream.
Oh, well, thank you for having me. Much gratitude.
Could you please introduce yourself to the audience?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. I'm Denelle Boyles of the United States, and I am in many professions. As Miss Dear Sidra had mentioned, I'm an author and an artist and a holistic practitioner, but among that, I am also an educator and a mom of 2 older boys. And we also have a plethora of animals here. We have 4 cats and a dog.
That sounds great. Okay. Ma'am, I have designed few questions relevant to our topic. So if you allow me, may I ask you?
Yeah, absolutely. Feel free to lead the way into our conversation. I am ready.
Thank you so much. Okay. Okay. So first question is all about what are some common hurdles which people generally face when it comes to speak English as a second language?
Well, this one is a pretty common one that we talk about whenever we participate in group classes and international communications. And the most common that we typically come across, in my experience as an English educator, is the first and second language difference in cultural references, and the fact that in translation, they can mean different things. When translating from first to second language, a lot can get lost in that translation back and forth. And not being able to entirely express emotion because the dialect is different between languages, so the way things are enunciated in your language would be enunciated a little different in my language, and so between those two, a lot of times emotion is lost in conversation. So being able to develop a good speech pattern that expresses between the two is a common difficulty. Other hindering issues is the fact that in other languages opposed to English, a lot of the same simple words that we use as sentence fillers are not used. A lot of times the, is, am, they aren't as common. The other languages are very direct and have a very specific speech pattern in them that we don't use in the United States or in English. And so a lot of those words, when they're not used, is misinterpreted when it's, as we stated, a complete sentence when you were speaking English. But losing that connective bridge between the two languages can leave an individual trying to translate spaces that they don't fully understand, or they may not even have the ability to completely tie together.
Yeah, it is. So,
Yeah.
what do you think about that? Is it mandatory to learn grammar to speak English? It is the main point which is commonly asked by a number of people.
I personally don't necessarily, in my experience, feel like you have to learn grammar to speak English, but it is very helpful. Because when it does come to the simplistics of it, like person, place, and thing, or nouns or verbs, adjectives, adverbs, and all of those things that are descriptives of things. But when it comes right down to it, to be able to learn to speak English, no, you don't have to learn the basics of grammar. It's if somebody is really wanting to like get in depth and really study English, then yeah, they're going to want to have to dive into that. But no, it's not necessary. A lot of my students that I've worked with are very young, and so just being able to get down the patterns of English is most important. But as they get older, it could become of more importance to learn a little bit more of the grammatical part of language.
It's all about to just experience it to be confident. I think so.
Yeah, to learn. And that goes with the first question of developing that speech pattern, of knowing the way to format sentences. Because a lot of times, say, like, I lived in Israel when I was younger, and so I was very submerged in having to learn not just the culture but the language. And the speech pattern of Hebrew is very different from English, because they do not use words like the or of. They don't use sentence fillers. It's, put the dog out, or get me glass of water, or it's not, can I have a glass of water, please? So when I would speak Hebrew from an English dialect, it sounds very weird because I use the sentence fillers in between my words that makes the sentence really long, whereas like in their language they don't use all of those. Yeah. And
Yeah,
having confidence in how you speak. I always say speak from your belly. Anytime you're speaking, speak from the chest and the belly, so that when you project your speech pattern, you have confidence.
yeah, it is. As different people are from different or various backgrounds now,
Mhm.
pronunciation and accent, it's totally changed.
Yeah, it's very different from culture to culture. Yeah,
Yeah,
all
it
across the
is.
world.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Second question. How could speaking English influence to navigate someone's personality in this modern era?
This one's very interesting to me because I do work with so many different countries globally, that I see very many different um, personality traits, very much different language traits. And for English speakers that are learning English as their secondary language, they tend to immerse themselves when they're learning the new language, which a lot of times is the easiest way to do it. And that's, going places where they speak English, watching English speaking TV shows, hanging out with people who also speak English. And so being highly immersive in the language is the best way to expose yourself in order to fully learn. But this exposes a person to a lot of new cultural differences. And so with these cultural differences comes different lingo and personality traits. And so it's kind of interesting because as individuals immerse themselves, it's like blending themselves into two different cultures. And so they
Hmm.
kind of adapt and take on other personality traits of individuals that they are learning from. And so, like if an individual is learning English from me, they're going to pick up on my dialect. They're going to pick up on my facial expressions, and so they kind of adapt those ways into their own personal habits. And so this begins to adapt them into different practices not just of their language, but in cultural and personal behaviors. But this integrates kind of like new variances of just self-adaptation and growth. And in order to take on a new language, you kind of have to do that. And it reframes your ability to open up to the change, not just in their verbal palette, but also in their personality. So,
Okay. Okay, what would you like to say about professional life, that how it plays role?
how in a professional life, like as in like their work life?
Yeah, in work life, what is the role of English language? What are the advantages if person
Um,
knows English?
Nowadays, it's language is almost English is almost becoming the first language of the world, and that's because it is one of the I would probably say one of the easier languages to learn, but it's also because so many people are traveling to the United States. A lot of people want to move here for career opportunities, for college opportunities. And so speaking English nowadays in modern times is very much a an opportunity to have almost like a secondary skill. If you
Hmm.
have the English language under your belt and you're very fluent in it, then it's going to create more job opportunities for you, much more on a much larger scale.
Hmm.
Mhm.
Yeah, a person is over privileged when he or she knows English.
Yeah.
Then she is given number of opportunities.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah. And then that aspect, it's different. Like if I spoke fluent Spanish, um, I feel like me speaking fluent Spanish would not present as much opportunities as someone who is of a different culture that speaks English, if that
Hmm.
makes sense. Like they have more opportunity speaking English than I would speaking Spanish, because Spanish is not a first
Hmm.
language, considered a first language globally.
Hmm. Because it is an international language, no? That is demanded.
Yeah, English is pretty much an international language, and from my experience in many other school system in other countries, English is taught along with their standard education requirements. And so, like as soon as they are in academics in other countries, they start learning English from a young age,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
as a
And
requirement.
hmm.
Sorry.
Okay. It's okay. Okay. What are some strategic ways to communicate in English with people as per cultural diversity? What should be focused or concerned for interaction?
Um, when it comes to people who belong to various cultures, having a sensitivity to those cultures is most important.
Hmm.
Whenever you're communicating with a lot of different people from different places around the world, the U.S. is very open and diverse, and the way that we do things here is very different than it is in other countries. And so, as somebody who communicates a lot with other people of other cultures, you have to kind of be aware of how your sensitivity is towards differences. And that's, just always having the understanding that language is a reflection of different religions, personal beliefs and religious beliefs, cultural beliefs. The way that you address individuals, if you're introducing yourself to someone or referring to someone, knowing what the cultural differences is in a language basis of how it is to make those references. The way that you speak of food or personal information, just really being familiar with cultural sensitivity is probably the best way to put it. Cultural sensitivity
Yeah.
is
It
is
is
a good,
concerned,
yeah, cultural
especially.
sensitivity. So, and what's modernly acceptable? That's, having the discernment to make the right conversational adaptations to the individual that you're talking to. So it's, cultural sensitivity is a good way to put it. That's very important.
Yeah, okay. Let's move to the next question. Okay. What's the role of technology relevant to English language learning? Which apps or tools are powerful and recommended for learning English? May I repeat it? Hello. I think she has internet problem now. She's there.
Ah, yay, we're back.
Thank you.
All right, there we go. The role of technology. Technology
Yeah.
is always keeping us on our toes. I personally, professionally, and I think globally, the importance of technology has really increased. And the reason for that is because most students that are learning foreign languages are online. As you have established an amazing in-person linguistics business. So you are in person with probably most of your students, I would guess. Do you do classes online as well?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah, yeah. And do you have a classroom that's established in person also?
Not right now at the
No?
moment, but I am
Okay.
just looking forward for the
Yeah.
place. Right now, it's all about online learning.
That's wonderful. It's good because, with that said about technology and, for that very reason, most of our
Mm,
students are online and in other places. And, they learn foreign languages online very openly through the TFL courses or, I forget the other acronym for the English language courses, but it's predominantly participated in through online educators. As myself, my students are all online as well, and in other countries. But there are more developments that are starting that are like focused on like centers. Like I have friends that live in India that they teach in person as well online, but
mm.
they teach students that are in the United States. So having access to technology is so very important. Technology plays a huge role in any of those kinds of courses that take place online. And whether it's a licensed class or whether it's just an opportunity like myself that I teach a lot of free courses online through humanitarian organizations. And that's to help just extend education experiences to individuals that don't have access to extended education.
That's
So,
great.
yeah, technology is very important. I wouldn't want
Yeah.
to lose it.
Which apps would you recommend for learning or improving English, except that?
As far as like utilizing, I honestly have not used a lot of apps. The only one that I truly have experience with is Duolingo. And I know there's more, much more. Yeah, there's much more advanced apps out there nowadays, but Duolingo is the only one that I really have experience in using. Yeah.
Hmm. And according to my perspective, I think that we have to listen to TED podcast. It is very fruitful. It has various people from different backgrounds. They are motivational speakers. They talk on different topics.
This
We
is
can improve our listening. We can just improve our fluency, and
Mhm.
it is really beneficial to learn English or understand for accent or pronunciation as well, no?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like I have participated in so many different podcasts, classes, different
Hmm.
different platforms, and probably the main platform that we utilize is, such as StreamYard or Facebook, Zoom. But
Hmm.
utilizing any of those types of social platforms to be able to gain access to different groups is very important. Yeah.
Yeah, as you are TEFL certified instructor as well, no? So,
Yes. Mhm.
what do you recommend to your students to improve English or learn it?
Whenever they're looking for advice, I always tell them if you have English speaking friends, or make friends with native English speakers. And, whenever you make friends and you have common interest with other people who speak English, that immersion is very helpful. Navigate online resources, like we were talking about, the English through professional, amateur, and fellow students, groups that you can find online, different support groups. In Facebook, there's tons of groups. Instagram, there's so many different places that you can find other people who are also looking for the same kind of support that, that they might be. But just really utilizing those free resources to find other people who offer friendship, immersion, free services, paid services, because, I know being able to afford a class is wonderful, but there's so many individuals that do not have the finances to be able to afford classes. So, it's nice to be able to direct them to resources where they can go get what they need without having to spend a lot of money. But, and like we were talking about, utilizing the training apps, such as Duolingo, because they do almost every language on Duolingo. As far as I know, I think there's a very wide.
Okay. Is there any other thing which would you like to discuss?
I don't know. How do you, from your perspective, do you have difficulty with any of the things that we talked about with implementing them, whether it's like technology or bridging the gap between cultural differences and language differences, or, like from your perspective as also a teacher and educator, what's your biggest challenges that you come across?
Yeah, I think the same that people
Mhm.
generally they belong to different cultures or background, no?
Mhm.
They know their language. If I talk about my territory or country or hometown, no, which I face, and on online platform as well as I teach online, no. So
Mhm.
this is the main thing that they have number of obstacles or hurdle when it comes to speak English as a second language. But I think that we have to give them environment. We have to give them platform to speak
Right.
English fluently without any hesitation. And
Mhm.
I always recommend them and just want to make them confident by saying that do mistakes. Mistakes are our friends, not enemies. If we
Oh
do
yeah,
mistakes, we learn from mistakes.
absolutely. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
the
that's
thing.
one thing that, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, especially when working with young students, like having them understand not to be too hard on themselves. They always want to learn quickly, And learning language takes time, you know, even with immersion, it takes time and can be difficult, you know, and not being hard on yourself. I had so many young students that, and you'll have to excuse me, one of my kitties came to visit and he's being very intrusive on my space.
It's okay.
He's- he keeps trying to climb in my lap. But
So sweet.
so many of the younger students are driven to have, you know, perfect scores, perfect performance, you know, and just being able to just kind of relax and have fun with it as well, because there's so many fun, colorful aspects to learning English. And that was one thing that I really enjoy working with younger students is, you know, things that are like the colors and different names of foods and names of places, and really learning the dialect of the language and how funny it sounds rolling off of your tongue when it's foreign to you, you know, like having fun with it and actually enjoying the learning experience is very important, especially when working with younger students. Yeah, which
We have
I do
to
work.
make them enjoyable environment now, so they could also enjoy it and learn as well now. And
Yeah.
it is the initial stage to learn English from the basic vocabulary, like
Mm.
as you mentioned, food or colors names or other objects.
Yeah, absolutely. It's very important. Yeah. He's like a small child. He wants attention like a small child. But yes, I very much enjoy it, whether it's working with younger students. Most of the younger students that I work with are through humanitarian organizations, and so they're very receptive. They very much want to learn. They're very thirsty for knowledge and different experiences. So I try to make it as fun as possible whenever I do teach.
And their time is also precious. We have to concern this thing as well. We
Yeah.
have to teach them somehow according to their capabilities. As if I talk about myself, I assume my candidates or students according to them. After one class, I design the syllabus that what to teach, how to teach.
Mm-hmm.
That is the main point. I think so.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. I'm I'm very I'm very much probably with you the same. It's a very personal experience with teaching someone a foreign language and having them adapt and grow because you're working very closely with them. Yeah,
Yeah.
very personal
Okay.
experience.
Okay, ma'am. Would you like to say something about yourself, your services? If you like, you may mention here in this live
Sure.
stream.
Just if anyone is ever interested in extending their education through any of the organizations I work with, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram under Denelle Boyles or Emotions and Art Healing Studios. I do offer online classes, not just for holistics and for my work through my studios, but I also offer English learning courses. But if you are interested in joining collaboration with any of the organization, we also do group classes every so many weeks out of the year that combines different classrooms around the world. So like we've worked with Bangladesh, Singapore, Soviet Georgia, India. So like we've brought different classes together around the world. And so the students get to meet each other and work together on a Zoom platform. It's an amazing experience. But if you have any questions about any of those kinds of things, feel free to send me a message. I do work with predominantly Glory Future Foundation, which is in Bangladesh, and a handful of other organizations. And it would be a pleasure.
Okay, audience, I hope you have enjoyed this live stream and it's been really fruitful or beneficial to all of you. Wish you all the best and be connected with MSK Linguistic Center. Okay,
Absolutely.
ma'am,
That's awesome.
it's my
My sound is cutting out. I'm sorry. Yes. Thank you very much. Take care.
yeah, it's been really nice meeting with you.
Yes,
I'm
absolutely. My
really
pleasure.
grateful
Sorry,
once again.
my audio keeps cutting out. But yes, it's been a pleasure. And thank you to everyone who's joined us today. I hope that you have enjoyed the conversation, and remember to always keep learning.
Okay, wish you all the best.
Thank you. Take care.
Take care.